Have you ever looked down at your ankles in the evening and wondered whose legs you were looking at? Those puffy, swollen ankles that seem to have appeared out of nowhere, making your feet look like they belong to someone twice your size? Maybe you've tried to put on your favorite shoes only to find they won't zip up because your feet are so swollen. Or perhaps you've noticed deep, angry indentations around your calves where your socks have been cutting into your flesh all day. This happened to me about 6 months ago. I was sitting in my living room after dinner, and when I looked down, I couldn't believe what I was seeing. My legs looked like they had doubled in size. My ankles had completely disappeared, swallowed up by puffy, tight skin that felt hot to the touch. When I pressed my finger into my shin, it left a deep dent that took almost a minute to fill back in. I was terrified. Was this a sign of heart failure? Kidney disease? Blood clots? The swelling was so severe that I could barely bend my ankles, and walking to the bathroom felt like I was carrying sandbags attached to my legs. But here's what shocked me most. My doctor told me this wasn't necessarily a sign of serious disease. Instead, he asked me a question that changed everything. What did you eat today? That's when I discovered that 3 specific foods I was consuming regularly, foods I thought were perfectly healthy, or at least harmless, were acting like sponges in my body, soaking up water and causing dangerous fluid retention in my legs. Could the foods I was eating every single day be silently causing my legs to swell? What I learned over the following weeks will shock you. These weren't obviously unhealthy foods. I'm talking about foods that are sitting in most seniors' kitchens right now. Foods that seem innocent or even nutritious, but are secretly wreaking havoc on circulation and fluid balance in ways that become dramatically worse after age 60. Here's the truth that no one tells seniors about leg swelling. It's not normal aging. It's not something you just have to accept because you've hit 60, 70, or 80 years old. Leg swelling is your body's alarm system telling you that something is wrong with your circulation, your fluid balance, or your cardiovascular system. After 60, your body processes salt, sugar, and fluids differently than it did when you were younger. Your kidneys become less efficient at filtering excess sodium. Your heart doesn't pump as strongly, making it harder to move fluid back up from your legs. Your blood vessels lose elasticity, creating areas where fluid can pool and accumulate. But here's what makes this truly dangerous. By the time you notice significant swelling in your legs, the underlying damage has often been happening for months or even years. The foods that cause this swelling aren't just making your legs puffy. They're silently stressing your cardiovascular system, overworking your kidneys, and setting the stage for serious health complications. Chronic leg swelling isn't just uncomfortable. It's a warning sign. It can indicate that your heart is struggling to pump effectively. It can signal that your kidneys aren't filtering toxins properly. It can mean that your blood pressure is spiking to dangerous levels, even if your regular readings seem normal. The 3 foods I'm about to reveal are consumed by over 80% of seniors on a regular basis. Most people eat at least one of them daily, completely unaware that they're creating a perfect storm of inflammation, fluid retention, and circulation problems in their legs. Think about how your legs feel right now. Are they heavy and tired by the end of the day? Do you notice swelling that's worse in the evening? Do your shoes feel tighter as the day goes on? Are there marks on your legs from your socks? These aren't just minor inconveniences. They're signs that these hidden foods are already affecting your body. But here's the hope. Unlike many age-related health issues, food-related leg swelling often improves quickly once you know what to avoid. Many people see dramatic reductions in swelling within just days or weeks of eliminating these problematic foods. Dangerous food number 3, processed deli meats, the hidden sodium time bomb. When I say processed deli meats, you might think, but I buy the good stuff from the deli counter. Unfortunately, whether it's turkey, ham, roast beef, or chicken from the deli counter, these meats are loaded with sodium, far more than most people realize. A typical 4-ounce serving of deli turkey contains over 1,000 milligrams of sodium. That's nearly half of your entire daily recommended intake in just one small sandwich portion. But the sodium in processed meats isn't just regular salt. These meats are cured using sodium nitrates, sodium phosphates, and other chemical compounds that your aging body has an increasingly difficult time processing. When you consume these high-sodium processed meats, your body immediately begins retaining water to dilute the excess salt. But after 60, your kidneys can't efficiently eliminate this extra sodium and fluid. Instead, gravity pulls that excess water down into your legs and ankles, where it accumulates throughout the day. Let me tell you about Helen, a 72-year-old retired teacher whose legs were swelling so severely that she could barely walk by evening. Helen was eating what she thought was a healthy diet. Every morning she'd make a sandwich with deli turkey for lunch. She'd often have ham with dinner, and she loved turkey roll-ups as afternoon snacks. What Helen didn't realize was that she was consuming over 3,000 milligrams of sodium daily just from these processed meats, more than double the recommended amount for seniors. Her legs were swelling because her body was desperately trying to dilute all that excess sodium, and her aging kidneys couldn't keep up. The swelling wasn't just cosmetic for Helen. By afternoon, her legs were so heavy that she'd stopped taking her daily walks. She'd stopped going to her book club because sitting for long periods made the swelling worse. She was becoming isolated and sedentary, which only compounded the circulation problems. But processed deli meats don't just cause immediate water retention. The preservatives and chemical additives can trigger inflammation in your blood vessels, making them less efficient at moving fluid back up from your legs. The high sodium content can cause blood pressure spikes that stress your cardiovascular system. The solution for Helen was surprisingly simple. We replaced her daily processed meats with fresh, unprocessed alternatives. Instead of deli turkey, she started buying whole turkey breast and roasting it herself. Instead of ham with dinner, she'd have grilled chicken breast or baked fish. Instead of turkey roll-ups, she'd have a hard-boiled egg or nuts. Within just 1 week, Helen noticed her legs felt lighter by the end of the day. Within 2 weeks, the evening swelling had decreased by more than half. By the end of the first month, Helen's legs looked and felt completely normal, and she was back to her daily walks and social activities. The safe alternatives are easier than you think. Buy whole pieces of meat and cook them yourself. A whole chicken breast, turkey breast, or lean pork tenderloin. Cook them with herbs and spices instead of salt, then slice thin for sandwiches. You'll get all the protein without the sodium overload. Dangerous food number 2, canned soups, the liquid sodium trap. This one might surprise you because soup seems like such a healthy, comforting food. But canned soups are one of the worst offenders when it comes to causing leg swelling in people over 60. A single cup of most canned soups contains between 800 and 1,500 milligrams of sodium. But who eats just 1 cup of soup? Most people consume an entire can, which means they're getting 1,600 to 3,000 milligrams of sodium in what they think is a light, healthy meal. The sodium in canned soups is particularly problematic because it's in liquid form, which means it's absorbed more quickly into your bloodstream than solid foods. This creates an immediate spike in sodium levels that triggers rapid water retention. Let me share Frank's story. Frank was a 68-year-old retired electrician who had been struggling with leg swelling for over a year. His doctor had put him on a water pill, but the swelling kept getting worse. Frank thought he was eating healthily. He'd have chicken noodle soup for lunch most days, thinking it was better than a sandwich or fast food. Sometimes he'd have tomato soup with crackers or vegetable soup that seemed packed with nutrition. What Frank didn't realize was that his healthy soup habit was delivering massive sodium loads every single day. The chicken noodle soup contained 1,890 milligrams of sodium per can. The tomato soup had 1,480 milligrams. Even the vegetable soup contained 1,620 milligrams. Frank's legs were swelling because his body was retaining water to handle all that excess sodium. But it was worse than that. The daily sodium spikes were causing his blood pressure to fluctuate wildly, putting stress on his heart and kidneys. His circulation was becoming less efficient, making it harder for fluid to move back up from his legs. The breaking point came when Frank's ankles became so swollen that he couldn't put on his regular shoes. He had to buy shoes 2 sizes larger just to accommodate the swelling. He was embarrassed to go out in public because his legs looked so distorted. Canned soups contain multiple sources of hidden sodium. There's salt added during processing, sodium from flavor enhancers like MSG, sodium from preservatives, and even sodium from ingredients like celery salt. All of these add up to create a perfect storm for fluid retention. We helped Frank transition to simple, fresh soups at home. He'd start with low-sodium broth, add fresh or frozen vegetables, and include lean protein like chicken breast or beans. He could make a large pot on Sunday and eat it throughout the week. The difference was immediate. Within 3 days, Frank noticed his legs felt less tight in the evening. Within a week, he could see his ankle bones again. Within 2 weeks, he was back to wearing his normal shoes, and within a month, his doctor reduced his water pill dosage. The safe alternatives are surprisingly simple. Make homemade soups using fresh ingredients and low-sodium broth. If you must buy canned soup, look for options with less than 300 milligrams of sodium per serving. Better yet, make large batches of homemade soup and freeze individual portions. Dangerous food. Number 1. Frozen prepared meals. The complete swelling package. This is the most dangerous food for leg swelling in seniors, and it's one that almost everyone over 60 has in their freezer right now. I'm talking about frozen dinners, frozen pizza, frozen breakfast sandwiches, and even those healthy frozen meals that promise balanced nutrition for active seniors. These foods are absolutely devastating for leg circulation and fluid balance because they combine multiple swelling triggers in one convenient package. They're loaded with sodium for preservation and flavor. They contain refined carbohydrates that spike blood sugar and insulin levels. They include artificial additives and preservatives that can trigger inflammation. A typical frozen dinner contains between 1,500 and 2,500 milligrams of sodium. That's more than most people should consume in an entire day, delivered in one meal. But the sodium is just the beginning of the problem. These meals also contain refined carbohydrates and sugars that cause rapid spikes in blood insulin. When insulin levels spike, your kidneys immediately begin retaining sodium and water. This creates a double hit. First from the direct sodium load, then from the insulin-induced water retention. Let me tell you about Margaret's shocking experience. Margaret was a 75-year-old widow who started experiencing severe leg swelling that was so bad she was considering moving to assisted living. After her husband passed away, Margaret had lost motivation to cook elaborate meals just for herself. She'd started relying heavily on frozen meals, breakfast sandwich in the morning, frozen lunch entree at midday, and frozen dinner in the evening. She chose meals that advertised heart healthy or senior nutrition on the packaging. What Margaret didn't realize was that she was consuming between 4,000 and 6,000 milligrams of sodium daily, plus massive amounts of refined carbohydrates and inflammatory additives. Her body was in constant fluid retention and inflammation. The swelling was so severe that Margaret couldn't bend her ankles properly. Walking became painful. She started using a cane, then a walker, not because her muscles were weak, but because the fluid buildup made movement extremely difficult. Margaret's legs weren't just swollen, they were constantly aching. The skin felt tight and hot. She developed what looked like orange peel texture on her shins from the chronic fluid retention. She was trapped in a cycle where the swelling made her less active, which made the circulation problems worse. But frozen meals also contain hidden ingredients that compound the swelling problem. Monosodium glutamate enhances flavor but triggers water retention. Artificial preservatives can cause inflammation in sensitive individuals. High fructose corn syrup creates insulin spikes that worsen sodium retention. The transformation began when Margaret's daughter convinced her to try meal preparation instead of frozen convenience foods. They started with simple recipes: baked chicken with vegetables, homemade soups, fresh salads with grilled protein. Within the first week, Margaret noticed she wasn't as thirsty all the time. Within 2 weeks, her legs felt lighter when she woke up in the morning. By the 4th week, the chronic aching in her legs had disappeared, and she could see the bones in her ankles for the first time in months. Most remarkably, Margaret's energy levels improved dramatically. She realized that the constant inflammation and fluid retention had been sapping her strength and making her feel older than her years. As the swelling reduced, she felt more like herself again. The safe alternatives to frozen meals require some planning, but aren't as difficult as you might think. Spend 1 day a week preparing several meals and freezing individual portions. Cook a large batch of soup. Grill several chicken breasts. Or prepare a casserole that can be divided and frozen. You can also keep simple whole food ingredients on hand for quick meals. Canned beans, low sodium, frozen vegetables, lean proteins like eggs or canned fish in water, and whole grains like brown rice or quinoa. The path to recovery and hope. The beautiful thing about food-related leg swelling is how quickly it can improve once you eliminate the problematic foods. Unlike other circulation issues that might require medical intervention, dietary swelling often responds within days. Your body wants to maintain proper fluid balance. When you stop overwhelming it with excess sodium, refined carbohydrates, and inflammatory additives, your natural systems can start working properly again. Your kidneys can filter more efficiently. Your blood vessels can function better. Your heart doesn't have to work as hard. Robert was a 69-year-old retired postal worker who experienced all 3 of these problematic foods in his daily routine. Deli sandwich for lunch, canned soup for dinner, and frozen breakfast sandwiches when he was in a hurry. His legs had been swelling progressively worse for 2 years. We created a simple meal plan that eliminated all 3 categories. Fresh roasted turkey instead of deli meat. Homemade vegetable soup instead of canned. Fresh eggs with toast instead of frozen breakfast sandwiches. Robert's transformation was remarkable. Week 1, less evening swelling. Week 2, morning stiffness in his legs disappeared. Week 3, he could wear his regular shoes again. By month 2, Robert had lost 12 pounds of water weight and felt more energetic than he had in years. The key is understanding that your legs are trying to tell you something important. Swelling isn't just cosmetic, it's communication from your body about what's working and what isn't. Your action plan. Start by examining what's currently in your kitchen. Check your freezer for frozen meals. Look in your refrigerator for processed deli meats. Count how many cans of soup you have in your pantry. These 3 categories are likely contributing to any leg swelling you're experiencing. Choose one category to eliminate first. If you eat a lot of deli meat, start there. If you rely heavily on canned soup, focus on that. If frozen meals are a daily habit, begin with alternatives to those. Replace, don't just eliminate. Have a plan for what you'll eat instead. Cook extra portions when you do cook, so you have healthy leftovers. Prepare simple ingredients that can be combined quickly for meals. Pay attention to how your legs feel as you make these changes. Notice if the evening swelling is less severe. See if your shoes fit better. Check if you have more energy for walking or other activities. Be patient but persistent. Some people see improvements in days, others in weeks. Your body has been dealing with these inflammatory foods for potentially years. Give it time to heal and rebalance. Remember that leg swelling after 60 isn't normal or inevitable. It's often a sign that your diet contains hidden dangers that are stressing your cardiovascular system. But it's also a hopeful sign because it means you have the power to improve your circulation and comfort through the choices you make every day. Which of these 3 foods surprised you the most? Was it learning that deli meats are sodium bombs? Discovering that healthy soups are liquid salt traps? Or finding out that convenient frozen meals are complete swelling packages? If this information helped you understand what might be causing your leg swelling, please share this video with other seniors who might be struggling with the same issues. Your sharing could help someone regain their mobility and comfort. Subscribe to our channel for more life-changing health information specifically for seniors. In our next video, I'll reveal 5 morning drinks that can actually help reduce leg swelling and improve circulation naturally. Your legs have carried you faithfully for 60, 70, 80 years or more. They deserve to be comfortable and functional for many years to come. The foods you choose today can determine whether your legs feel heavy and swollen tomorrow or light and strong. The choice is yours, and it's never too late to start making changes that will improve how you feel every single day.